This is Flash FM.
Hello, America! Wake up and go to bed with Terry and Tony.
Hello, Internet. Thanks for tuning in again. Those who've, decided to take the time and watch my little YouTube channel. I thank you. So today I'm actually feeling kind of late today. I got a late start. I just really couldn't get out of bed. And for the first time in I don't know how many days, I actually left my apartment. Saw an article that said breaking news on it, and this apparently they were going to stop selling alcohol on April 3rd, and my dumb ass didn't really bother to actually look into it to see if it was for real or not, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to take any chances. So of course I restocked on my true love right here, Mr. Crown Peach. So today I was going to talk about how it feels to have, be in a young body but have an old soul. And what I mean by that is these days I really just can't relate to anything modern. I can't relate to, to today's pop culture. And I actually like legitimately struggle with that. I drink first because that's just a kitsch or a niche, whatever the fuck they call it on my channel. So, let's open this beauty up. See, I like Crown, not only just to keep me calm and, level-headed and stuff like that, but it's just the packaging is just beautiful. Just really beautiful. So I always have these little baggies, and I have a lot of them. Like, I guess you could use it for like a little quarter bag or stuff to put coins in. So yes, here we go. Okay, she does not want to open right now, and I'm getting upset. I'm upset! This is really hard. I don't have nails. I work with my hands a lot, and there's no point in me having nails because they'll just fuck up anyway. See, kids, like I said before, say no to substance abuse. Finally, after fucking 5 minutes later. Ooh, this actually smells pretty tangy. Yeah, what the hell. See, they always say that apparently when you use Diet Coke instead of regular Coke when it comes to, making alcoholic beverages, that you get drunker and tipsy real faster when you do that. And honestly, I feel kind of the same. Happy. Tastes like happy. So lately, I've been talking, nonstop about the fucking quarantine because really there's nothing else to talk about. But, now I have so much free time, even more free time to come. More time on the internet, actually, because before all this started, I actually worked a lot. Like, basically, I was always working 2 jobs, but I kind of made my one job 2 jobs. I work in a restaurant, and I'm not ashamed of that because there's nothing wrong with blue-collar work. Usually, I work in the kitchen. And then, go in the front. I do everything but serve because I really just don't have the patience with working with people like that. So, yeah, now that I'm on the internet more, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and just actually been missing out on a lot. I feel like I'm almost a decade or 7-8 years behind on the times. But that's always been me, I guess, because I was never interested of anything new that's been going on besides technology. I mean, honestly, when I first got my first touchscreen phone, I was actually kind of pissed about it because I had a sidekick, and like every scene kid back in the day had a sidekick that flipped up in many different colors and had buttons and whatever. Well, I had to upgrade because mine stopped working. So I was just really not used to anything touchscreen because I was like, well, if this shit fucks up, I mean, you're kind of done. It's because it's a glass screen. At least with buttons, the buttons didn't mess up unless you really messed it up. So now I'm like getting caught up on certain lingos. Like I didn't even know what the fuck stand or whatever meant. To me, that was the song from Eminem. So like everybody kept talking about stand, like stand this, stand that, stand this, stand that. And I was like, is he sick? Does he need some medicine? And apparently that's just a word people use whenever you support a celebrity or influencer or whatever they're calling them these days. Because think about it, somebody whispered the ways into 5 Grammys, so I can't really Anybody could do anything to be a celebrity these days. As you can tell, or I don't know if you can tell or not, I can tell because I dress myself. I'm very inspired by 80s culture and 80s, that time period. But even before that, my favorite interest was, you know, like the 30s and the 20s and the 40s and the 50s and stuff like that. Like I was really intrigued by, you know, stuff like that. I used to watch a bunch of World War II movies. I used to, you know, actually checked out all of my library's books about World War II for spring break because I just wanted to know so much information about it. You know, like just the way people dress, the type of music people listen to, the way people talk back then. It like everything was just so glamorous, really. Like it's like you didn't have to be a celebrity or you didn't have to be, you know, that rich really to look nice. It seems like everybody just kind of got themselves together before they stepped outside, not like today. Of course, not everything back then was, you know, all sunshine and rainbows and happiness. You know, of course, you had bad things like segregation and, you know, the war itself. But I was just more intrigued with, you know, the way things were. You know, back then, having a car was a luxury. It wasn't a necessity like it is now. Food was different. Music was different. TV was different, you know? And TV was actually TV is actually very new when you think about it. It's actually not that old. You know, I liked that type of, you know, Americana and, you know, 40s and roaring 20s, you know, fashions and stuff as well. But to me, that's just something, it's nice to look at, but it's not something I personally could pull off. So like years later, because I was, you know, intrigued with that stuff for years, ever since I was a teenager in high school. So recently I've been watching a lot of documentaries. There's a good docu-series from CNN called The 80s, and basically they just go episode by episode about that whole decade, you know, music, politics, movies, that kind of stuff. And then I slowly but surely started to indulge myself in the music of that time, you know, like the typical, you know, Whitney Houston, Cyndi Lauper, Hall & Oates, Depeche Mode, The Rhythmics, stuff like that. And I really liked new wave. Not just new wave, but also obviously glam metal. So the more I learned about it and the more I saw different music genres and how they portray themselves, I got inspired. I was like, you know what? This is a style I could really pull off. Therefore, I've been stuck in the 80s for the past 2 years, I would say. Yeah, 2 years. And I know, like, from the title of this video, it's like, okay, when is he going to shut the fuck up and, you know, get with the point? What does he mean by having a young body and an old soul? Well, it's just, all my friends that I have are older than me. They're either Gen Xers or baby boomers. And now my baby boomers aren't the same as baby boomers everywhere else. See, my baby boomers are gay. Mostly all of them are gay. So they lived through the AIDS crisis. You know, they lived where you couldn't be openly gay or you risk of getting hurt. Yeah, they got through all that. And the way I met my friends was I would go down to my neighborhood bar, you know, looking how I'm looking right now. And where I am, of course, we're all gay, you know, queer here, all that kind of stuff. But my parents, for some reason, is a shock to them. I don't know why, but it is. The way we kind of bridge those gaps, you know, to connect and form friendships is it. And I would be on the jukebox and I would play nothing but 80s music. All kinds of 80s music. And, you know, of course, that reminds them of their youth or when the time they were younger. And it fills their head with memories, you know, of that time, you know, when they were younger and, you know, full of life. And so not saying they're not full of life now, but just, you know, there's a difference, you know, when you get older or you kind of don't have that same energy as you used to have anymore. But whenever I would play those songs, it would probably remind them of a time of their life, you know, when they're in the neighborhood during the 80s or on the radio on the way to work when they play in their car, you know, cassettes, Walkmans, and boom boxes. So they would usually ask the bartender, his name is Stu, he's also somebody I've grown close with. He's like, who's playing all this music? And it's like, oh, it's Adrian. Adrian's playing all the music. Every Wednesday if you hear 80s music, that's why it's on, is because Adrian plays it. So from there, you know, they say, oh, you got good taste in music. I love the music. I haven't heard this song in 30 years. So from there, that's where I would connect with them. So our conversations would go from music, and then I would talk about, oh, what were you doing in 84? Or what were you doing in 1988? And they would just tell me all these cool stories. And, you know, and they would tell me, you know, losing their boyfriends, husbands, and partners, to AIDS, because that was something very rampant and nobody had any kind of knowledge of what it was and what was killing us. I feel like they were really surprised somebody from a younger generation was really interested in the past. People do forget the past. Like we forget that these are the very same people that marched for us, and these are the very same people who really paved the way for us to be living our best life as gay people, or whatever you identify as. That's not, you know, hetero. They really paved the way for us for me to dress like this in public and go down the street and not have to worry about, you know, something happening to me. I know I said earlier that all my friends were baby boomers and Gen Xers, and actually that isn't true. Actually, my closest circle of friends, we're almost the same in age. And the reason why you get along and formed a friendship is because we all like comic books, like DC Comics and Marvel. We like video games. We play online often. And we also like anime. We really do. Anime and comic books and video games are the universal link to all ages. But other than that, like, we couldn't be any more different. I'm not saying all of us being different is a bad thing. Because let's face it, if we were all the same, the world would be really fucking boring. More boring than it already is. Besides my inner circle of friends, me trying to relate to people more my age is like, it's so weird. It's like a cultural difference. A cultural difference of pop cultures from the past and the present. I'm not saying everything modern is, you know, cringe, or it doesn't appeal to my ears, or, you know, I just don't like it. Because, you know, I mean, it's okay, but it's just something that's just not my cup of tea. Like modern music, I don't listen to modern music, and the only thing I would really consider modern music is actually 8 years old. See, when I was younger, you know, like every other emo and teen kid, you know, listen to metalcore and, you know, screamo music and My Chemical Romance, Pierce the Veil, Fall Out Boy, you know, etc. I haven't listened to anything that genre since 2012, so in a sense, it's almost a decade old. Mostly everything in my playlist that I have right now starts from 1930, ends at 1992. Like everything after that doesn't appeal to me. I'm not here to say, you know, all modern music is something that makes my ears bleed. I'm not going to be over exaggerating and dramatic saying that, oh, I just can't stand listening to it. I mean, I can. It's just, it doesn't light my fuse. With websites that aren't Facebook or Instagram, like I'm actually still very new to Instagram because I just had a Facebook for the longest time. Instagram, you know, I just never had enough free time to actually take pictures and hashtags and, you know, upload frequently and followers. Like I tried having a Snapchat once and I just hated it, so I ended up deleting it after a couple of hours. But apparently that's the platform everybody wants to be on. I had a Twitter. I mean, I guess it's technically still up there, but I haven't been on it since 2013. Because I just couldn't get the hang of it. I just couldn't. Sometimes I feel like a old person and I need like help from younger people to help with a computer problem because I don't get it, even though it's something very simple. That's why I say I feel like I have an old soul, because I really do feel like I'm like decades behind everybody else. It's like I said, when I go to my bar, it's like Captain America. It's like, you know, he's young, but all his friends are old. And I don't try to make friends with people more my age. That's just not it. But it's just when we can't find common ground and similar interests, it just doesn't go that far. They just kind of become friendly acquaintances. One time I kind of got into a Facebook argument because everybody wants to call out baby boomers, and apparently the definition of a baby boomer is not the actual definition of a baby boomer. You know, somebody born between 1945 to the 1960s, I think. So I was, you know, defending baby boomers on my post, but I didn't know the true definition of a baby boomer. So of course, you know, you have all these millennials, you know, telling me, okay, boomer and that stuff. And I was like, well, I'm not a baby boomer, so, you know, that would hurt my feelings if I had some. And I just answered right back very sarcastically. He's like, you're right, I'm 26 years old, which is like the new 40. Like, oh my God, I could die any moment. Shit, I'm going gray. That's the crazy part about it, is because I didn't know why people younger than me were calling me boomer. I don't know. Maybe I am one. I am in here, but I don't really fit the profile as one. So I remember one time when I was on the jukebox, you know, it was one of the Touch Tunes things, and you could skip it, and I had a whole playlist going, and then, you know, it was interrupted by modern music. It's bad. I even yelled at fucking millennials. And then my friend beside me said, Adrian, you are a millennial. And I was like, I refuse. And this is the point of the video. This is the point. This is what I'm trying to get at. It's like, it's actually pretty hard having an old soul, whether people believe that or not. I surely believe that. And living amongst the modern. Because unfortunately, you know, I could have lifelong friends that are Gen Xers and baby boomers. And I have to realize that they're going to be gone before I am. So when they're gone, I mean, of course, it's very morbid. You know, this turned dark really quick. But I'm actually serious about it. It's like when they're gone, like it's kind of like I don't have anybody left to relate to unless I get with the program and start enjoying modern stuff, which I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I went as so far to look at tour dates from singers and musicians from the 80s to see if they're still touring, which they are. You know, I was going to see Hall & Oates in June 17th because they were going to be in Fort Worth. Billy Idol still tours. He's usually in, you know, the Nevada area. The Psychedelic Furs tour, but they have like during usually smaller venues. I mean, hell, Motley Crue and Poison and all the other top glam metal bands are coming together again. So here's my chance. Here's my chance to live in my 80s life that I never got to experience. It's like I missed a decade I was never in. But I'm glad, actually. I mean, having old soul can be kind of lonely, but I've met some people more my age and younger than me that actually like 80s stuff and listen to other 80s bands too. So there is some hope that I could develop more friendships. I mean, this video wasn't supposed to come out as, you know, ranty or anything like that. It's just, I wonder if other people, I mean, does anybody out there feel the same way? You know, there's some people on YouTube who live their life like they're in the 40s or the 50s or whatever time period they like the most. So I know I can't be the only one. But it is kind of like a lonely lifestyle when you kind of indulge yourself in dated culture. Because not everybody's going to get it. The only people who get it are people who actually lived through those decades. I have a coworker. He was very much active in the 70s, and he taught me about all the clubs that he used to go, Studio 54, because he's actually from New York. And, you know, he would tell me about all the parties he would go from sunup to sundown. Him talking about seeing Diana Ross and the Commodores and Kool and the Gang. The meme is true. Maybe the reason why everybody was so fit back then because everybody was doing cocaine and dancing to 17-minute long songs. The main thing is, yeah, I could get with the program and start, you know, modernizing the way I present myself. But that just wouldn't be me. That wouldn't. And I think the most important part with people liking to have an aesthetic that is dedicated to a certain period in time that's just no more is you got to be true to yourself. That's just the way it is. It's going to be sometimes lonely because not everybody's going to get it. They're just not. I mean, we can only go forward. We can't go backwards yet, at least. Did anybody see the episode of Black Mirror where it was like some kind of like virtual graveyard for people who are dying or already dead? And you can kind of time jump which decade you wanted to go? See, I hope they do that soon because I know where I'm going. I mean, they may not really be at heaven or hell, so at least there you know what you're getting. Well, I think this video kind of already is a little bit too long already, so I'm just going to end it short here. Of course, you know, I'm still very new at YouTube. I'm still trying to practice and still trying to find topics to talk about. But so far, it's basically just like a video diary to me, you know, just to express my thoughts and kind of, you know, connect, like I said before, connect with people, make new friends. Just purely fun. Thanks for tuning in if you did tune in, if you haven't clicked off already, because like I said, I'm a very boring person. But also let me know in the comments if you also, if somebody's watching this and you also feel like you were born in the wrong era, because I've seen people say that before. But also let me know too if you just can't connect with modernization. And also, you know, I'm going to ask, you know, leave suggestions of what I should actually talk about. You know, I think that's what I'm going to start doing too, just start asking people, well, what do you want me to talk about? I'm still getting the whole, oh, talk about makeup, and I really don't want to do that for obvious reasons. If anything, I'm just going to probably do a product review or just do a video of me showing the makeup products that I use. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for joining me in my loneliness and my thoughts. Well, I really appreciate it, and hopefully you'll tune in for the next video.